The sun is dying behind the twin peaks of Mount Mashu, casting a shadow like a burial shroud over the world's edge. I stand before the gate of the setting sun, my skin the hide of a wild lion, my heart a hollow drum beating against the silence. The scorpion man, whose very stare is death and whose glory is a terrifying fire, bars my path to the unknown. He asks why a king of Uruk wanders the wild with starved cheeks and a gaze fixed on the void. Will my divine blood sustain me through the absolute dark, or will the silence of the earth prove stronger than the king who refuses to die? Uruk the sheepfold is a marvel of fired brick and bronze, its ramparts solid as iron, its foundations laid by the 7 sages of old. But for the men who live within those walls, it is a city of groans. Gilgamesh, the magnificent and terrible, strides through the streets like a wild bull with his head held high, his arrogance knowing no bounds by day or night. He is 2/3 god and 1/3 man, a creature of restless energy who takes the sons of the city for his wars and the daughters for his bed. The mothers of Uruk lament to the heavens, and the elders murmur in the shadows of the ziggurat, for their shepherd has become their predator. They cry out for a counterweight, a mirror to the king's stormy heart, and the goddess Aruru hears them. She washes her hands and pinches a piece of clay, hurling it into the wilderness of the Eden, where the world is still raw and untamed. From that holy clay, a man of silence is fashioned to meet the man of iron. There, Enkidu is born, a wild man matted with hair like the goddess of grain, a companion to the gazelles who knows nothing of the bread or wine of men. He grazes on the steppe and drinks at the waterhole with the beasts, his heart untainted by the cruelties of civilization. He is the offspring of silence, a primordial echo sent by the gods to tame the civilized terror that sits upon the throne of Uruk. He is the wild bull of the hills, destined to challenge the bull of the walls. The king and the wild man meet in the main street of Uruk, their collision shaking the very doorposts of the wedding house. They wrestle like bulls in the dirt, the walls trembling as they grapple and throw each other across the city square. They recognize in each other the only soul capable of understanding the weight of their own power. From the dust of that struggle, a brotherhood of iron is forged, a bond stronger than blood and deeper than any oath. But Gilgamesh cannot remain still. His heart is a restless fire that seeks a legacy to survive the rot of time. He looks toward the forbidden Cedar Forest, a realm of emerald shadows guarded by the monster Humbaba. Humbaba's voice is the deluge and his breath is death, a guardian appointed by the gods to terrify the hearts of men. Enkidu, who knows the wild ways, is filled with the cold dread of the steppe, but the king's desire for fame is a hunger that cannot be sated. As for man, his days are numbered, Gilgamesh proclaims to his friend. Whatever he might do, it is but wind. They commission axes of 3 talents and swords of gold, preparing for a quest that the elders of Uruk warn is an impossible folly. The ritual of departure begins as the smiths forge weapons of staggering weight, and the king seeks the blessing of his mother, Ninsun, the wild cow goddess. She laments to the sun god Shamash, asking why her son was given a heart that never sleeps. The elders of Uruk gather to command the heroes. Wash your feet in the river of Humbaba and dig a well every evening to ensure your water is pure. They charge Enkidu to lead the way, for the wild man knows the hidden passes and the nature of the beast. They entrust their king to the man of the wild, praying that the heavens will open a path where the mountains are blocked. With the blessings of the city, the bronze gates of Uruk clang shut behind them. They enter the Cedar Forest, where the air is thick with the scent of resin and a biological symphony that hums with life. Birds twitter through the branches, wood pigeons moan, and monkeys screech and drum like a band of musicians before the monster. This is the kingdom of Biophanies, a place where the noise of nature serves as a signpost for destruction. In the center of this primeval jungle stands Humbaba, his face a contorted mass of intestines, his presence an insult to the order of men. When Humbaba appears, a tower of scale and fury, the heroes feel the weight of their mortality. But with the aid of 13 divine winds sent by the sun, god Shamash, they pin the monster and strike the final blow. Humbaba's curse escapes his dying lips. Neither one of them shall outlive his friend, and they shall never reach old age. They fell the sacred trees and returned to Uruk with the heads of the forest, carrying trophies of a victory that is already rotting from within. Victory brings the gaze of Ishtar, the goddess of love and war, who offers Gilgamesh her hand in marriage. But the king rejects her with scathing insults, listing the lovers she has broken, the bird with the shattered wing, the lion in the pit. In her fury, she calls down the bull of heaven to ravage Uruk, its snorts digging pits that swallow the warriors by the hundreds. The heroes slay the beast, but Enkidu flings the bull's haunch in the goddess's face, sealing his own doom. The gods meet in a council of shadows and decree that one must pay the price for their defiance. Enkidu is chosen, his strength fading like a guttering candle as a protracted illness takes hold of his limbs. He shares with Gilgamesh a vision of the House of Dust, the place where the kings of the earth sit in total darkness, their crowns put away forever. They are clothed like birds with wings for covering, and the silence of the earth is their only companion. In the House of Dust, dust is their food and clay is their meat, and the great rulers of old fetch baked meats like servants. Enkidu sees the queen of the underworld, Ereshkigal, staring coldly into the gloom where no light ever enters. This is the end of all heroism, the final destination for the man of action and the man of the wild alike. Gilgamesh listens in horror, realizing that the sword cannot defeat the shadow and the wall cannot exclude the grave. When Enkidu dies, the king is shattered, his isolation returning with a terrifying weight. He refuses to surrender the body for burial, weeping over his friend for 6 days and 7 nights, until a maggot drops from Enkidu's nostril. The reality of death finally pierces the king's heart, stripping him of his arrogance. "Shall I not be like him?" he cries to the empty palace, "and also lie down, never to rise again, through all eternity?" The king flings away his royal garments as if they were abominations and dons the unscraped, hair-covered skins of lions. He wanders into the desert, his cheeks starved and his face drawn by heat and cold, transformed from a radiant ruler into a beast of grief. He seeks Utnapishtim, the only mortal to escape the grave, hoping to find a secret that the gods have kept for themselves. He is a hunter now, roaming the pastures in search of the wind. He reaches Mount Mashu and enters the Tunnel of the Sun, a path of total darkness where the heart is oppressed. For 12 leagues, he walks through the weight of the earth, seeing nothing ahead and nothing behind. In the first leagues, the darkness is thick. By the 8th, he gives a great cry of despair. In the 9th league, a freezing north wind hits his face, and by the 11th, the first grey light of dawn finally appears. He emerges into a garden of gemstones where the fruit is lapis lazuli and the leaves are carnelian, but his heart finds no peace. He finds the tavern of Siduri, the woman of the vine, who bars her gate against him, for he looks like a felon. She offers him the only truth permitted to man: fill your belly, make every day a delight, and love the child who holds your hand. But Gilgamesh will not listen, his sick heart driving him across the waters of death. With Urshanabi the ferryman, he pushes the boat with 120 poles, ensuring his hands never touch the lethal current. He finds Utnapishtim and hears the story of the Great Flood, how the gods decided to annihilate mankind because their noise was too great. Utnapishtim was granted immortality as a unique exception, a gift he proves Gilgamesh is unworthy of by challenging him to stay awake. The king sits down, but sleep overcomes him like a tide, proving his mortality is a biological mandate. In a moment of mercy, Utnapishtim tells him of a plant at the bottom of the ocean that can renew a man's youth. Gilgamesh ties heavy stones to his feet and sinks into the abyss, plucking the thorny plant that tears his hands. He returns to the surface, brandishing the prickly stalk like a scepter of hope. He intends to take it back to Uruk to share it with the elders and see the old men grow young before his eyes. But as he bathes in a cool lake, a serpent slithers from the shadows and steals the plant, shedding its skin and becoming young once more. Gilgamesh falls to his knees and weeps, for he has learned that immortality is not found in the flesh. He returns to Uruk and looks upon the walls he built, realizing his legacy is the city itself. He died a mortal man, but he lives in the brickwork and the stories we tell. Subscribe to Saga Weaver, where ancient warriors face impossible choices. Click the bell to join our Fellowship of Iron and never miss an epic retelling.